While calling any method through obj, 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 in the method body, inside a method body, inside a method body, come on, inside a method body, this is nothing but obj, this is nothing but obj. Now obj.t1, this dot t1, obj itself acting as a this, come on, if you go for directly t1, compiler keeping this dot t1, compiler keeping this dot t1, yes or no? So this is very much required to understand data structure. Let us walk through our last program, whichever we developed yesterday. D class containing I and ref. D class containing I and ref. For every object of D, I will be available, ref also will be available. For every object of D, for every object of D, I is available, ref also available. In every object of D. Now, in the main method, we are creating only one object. Inside that object, I is there, ref also there. Inside that object, I is there, ref also there. Then, while calling add method, we are using D1. In the add method, this is nothing but D1. In the add method, this is nothing but D1. Yes or no? Inside add method, this is nothing but D1. Inside add method, this is nothing but D1. For add method, we are supplying a 10. 10 is assigning to I. Come on. So D1 is a this. Same assigning to obj. D1 of main method, this of add method, obj of add method, all three pointing to same object. D1 from the main method, this from add method, obj from add method. All are pointing to C. I'm just checking D1.ref, it is a null or not. First time D1.ref is a null. D1.ref is a null. If D1.ref is a null, it won't execute while loop. It will not be executing while loop. Straight away it will execute. D1.ref is equal to new of D. D1.ref is equal to new of D. D1.ref is equal to new of D. Then D1.ref.I is equal to whatever current I value 10. Current I value 10 we are assigning here. One data member stored. Where the data member stored? Not in the D1. Inside a D1, whatever ref is there, that ref pointing to second D object. In that second D object, we stored I value 10. Yes or no? I repeat once again, please observe. In the main method, we created a D object. Inside a D object, I value 0, ref value null. Yes or no? In every D object, I is there, ref also there. First object we are creating. Come on. Very first D object. What is there inside the D object? What is there in the D object? Inside a D object, I is there and ref is there. I and ref. I value 0. Ref will be a null. I value 0, ref will be a null. I value 0, ref will be a null. 1 second. Guys, please observe everybody. D object created. I value 0, ref is null. I value 0, ref is null. By using the reference of D object, that is D1, I'm calling add method. D1 dot add. For add method, we are supplying a 10. 10 is assigning to argument of add. 10 is assigning to argument of add. Add method, argument. Add method argument is at 10. Inside a add method, this is nothing but D1. Yes or no? Inside a add method, this is nothing but D1. Come on, guys. Inside a D1 object, I is 0, ref also null. Now come to the add method. This is assigning to obj. D1, this and obj all are one and the same. D1, this, obj all are same. Yes or no? Now, so obj dot ref, that is D1 dot ref. D1 dot ref is a null. Null or not? It's a null. If it is a null, while loop is not executing. While loop is not executing. Directly coming to obj dot ref is equal to new of D. That obj is nothing but D1. D1 dot ref is equal to new of D. D1 dot ref is equal to new of D. Come on. Then afterwards, obj dot ref pointing to new of D. Inside that, I value 10. D1 pointing to first object. That first object ref is pointing to second object. In the second object only we dumped I value 10. We stored I value 10. Observe? Understanding everybody? So totally 2 objects are there now. One is referred by D1 from the main method. Second one, D1 dot ref. That ref is pointing to second object. In that second object only I is a 10. I is a 10. Now, I'm calling D1 dot add 20. Second time. For add method, 20 is going as an argument. Come on. Add method argument is 20. What about this in the add method? What is this in the add method? What is this in the add method? D2, D3, D1. By using D1 only we are calling add method. Add method argument is 20. In the add method I value 20. This is a D1. Yes or no? Yes, sir. This is 20. This is D1. D1 obj. D1 obj. These all are 3 same. Yes or no? Now, D1 dot ref not a null. D1 dot ref not a null. Why D1 dot ref not a null? Already one object is created. D1 dot ref not a null. Going inside, what we are doing, obj is equal to obj dot ref. Current obj pointing to D1 pointing. Now what we are doing, further D1 ref to wherever pointing, to the same obj is pointing. Now this obj pointing to second object or not? Come on. Obj pointing to second object. Yes or no? Obj pointing to the second object. Obj pointing to the second object. In the second object, ref is a null. Come on. In the second object, ref is a null or not? No idea. Second object ref is a null. Not a null. Null. Not null. Oh, 0. Second object ref is a null. So while loop is coming away. Now obj pointing to second object. Second object ref is equal to third object. Yes or no? Second object ref is equal to third object. In that third object, we are storing I value 20. Kya karna? Let's see once again right from the beginning. Please observe everybody. Very simple. So in the main method, what is the first statement? What is the first statement in the main method? No idea. So object is creating. Come on. That object is referring by everybody. That object is referring by D1. Inside this object, I value 0, ref is equal to null. This is the effect of first and foremost statement in the main method. Understood everybody? Come on. First line got over. Everybody understood, right? Now move the second line. D1 dot add of 10. So this is the main method. Please observe. This is completely main method body in this tab. On top of the main method, add method is coming. This is the add method. On top of the main method, add method. Let me represent method name as a add. Add method having one argument. What is the argument? Arguments are local to the same method. I might have told 10 times. Arguments are local to the same method. What is the I value? I value 10. Understood everybody? Now, inside this is available. Why this is available? Add method is a non-static method. In every non-static method, this is available. That this is automatically assigning with the reference whichever you used to call a add method. That this is internally automatically assigning to. The reference whichever you have used to call a method, I clearly told m1 dot test1. Inside a test1, this is m1. Now, this is assigned to d1. So what is the meaning of this? Come on. What is the meaning of this? Assigning to say to wherever D1 pointing from the main method, same is pointing by this from add method. Yes or no? Now, what is the first statement in the add method? Obj is equal to this. Obj local variable of D type in the add method. Obj D type local variable in the add method. It is assigning to this, that this is nothing but D1. Obj also pointing to the same. One object referred by three references. One reference from main method, that is D1. Two references from add method, those are this and obj. Now you can check it out obj.ref whether it is a null or not. Obj.ref null or not? It's a null. Obj.ref is a null. Obj.ref is a null. If obj.ref is a null, come on. While loop don't execute. The total while loop is skipping. Straight away coming to this area. What is there here? New D object creating, that is assigning to obj.ref. Assigning to obj.ref. Inside this object, I value 0 initially. Ref is a null. Done, everybody? This is assigning to obj.ref. Who is obj.ref? Who is obj.ref? D1, huh? obj.ref. Obj and D1 same. Obj.ref is D1.ref. D1.ref, obj.ref, this dot ref, all are like a ref inside a first object. Inside a first object, whatever ref is there, that is obj.ref. Obj pointing to first object. Obj.ref, it is not a D1. Obj, D1 both are same. Obj.ref, it is same as D1.ref. Now, what is the meaning of this assignment? So please observe, I am removing this. It's correct or not? Inside a first object, whatever ref is there, that ref is pointing to second object. Obj.ref is equal to new D object. Obj.ref is equal to new D object. Then what we are doing? Locally assigning to obj.ref.i. Locally assigning to obj.ref.i. Yes or no? Come on. Obj.ref.i is equal to locali. What is the locali in the add method? No. 10. that 10 is assigned to obj dot ref dot I. Obj dot ref dot I. This is 0 earlier. That 0 is modifying to 10. Got it? The total add method got over. Come on. One time add method got over. Once add method execution got over, this add method will be removing from the stack. Come on. Add method is removing from the stack. Whatever local members are there in the add method, all will be getting removed. All are getting removed. Add method execution got over. Automatically one data member is added. That data member added in the second D object? Yes or no? In the second D object, data member. What is the data member? 10. 10 is added in the second object. D1 pointing to first object only. In the first object, we are not adding any values. First object I value, default 0. Leave it. First object ref pointing to second object. Sorry. In the second object, we stored I value 10. In the second object, ref is a null now. If you add a second element, that second element will be storing in the third object. That third object should be referred by second object's ref. Second object's ref. Yes or no? Heroes. So now come to the main method. D1 dot add of 20. Again add method is coming into the stack. This is the add method. Inside add method, there is one local argument. Arguments are local to the same method. What is the I value? 20 or 0? 20. 20 or 0? It's 20. What about this? Whether this pointing to first object or second object? Whether this pointing to first object or second object or any third object? Fourth object? Come on. This is pointing to first or second? First or second? First. First or second? Please check it out. I told you n number of times. This is nothing but a D1. D1 still pointing to first only. D1 dot ref pointing to second. So here we used D1 to call add method second time. While using D1 to call add method, in the body of the add method, this is nothing but D1. Now, inside a add method, what is there? Obj. So obj is creating local to the add method. It is assigning to this. Now to where obj pointing? Second object. I don't have a pistol with me. I don't have a gun with me. So to where obj pointing now? First object or second object? There are one or two people. Second object. Heroes. Now, inside a add method, while loop is executing, to where obj pointing now? To where obj pointing? To the Bangalore or Mysore? To where obj pointing? First object. Obj pointing to first object. Now, what obj dot ref? Whether it is a null or not a null? Obj dot ref. It's not a null. Obj dot ref is not a null. Obj dot ref is not a null. If it is not a null, going inside a while loop, obj is equal to something. Obj is equal to something. What is that something? Obj dot ref. What is obj dot ref? Obj dot ref is a second object. Obj pointing to first object. First object ref is pointing to second object. Obj dot ref is second object. That second object assigning back to obj. What is the meaning of this? Obj will point to the second object now. Obj is equal to obj dot ref. Obj dot ref is a second object. That second object assigning back to obj. Come on. All Paramananda Sishyas. So for better understanding purpose, I am trying my level best. Everybody can able to understand. Yeah. Hey. Obj pointing to second object. Obj pointing to second object. So one while loop iteration got over. It is going to the second while loop iteration. Now obj.ref, whether it is a null or not a null, to where obj pointing? Second object. Second object ref is null. While loop is skipping? Yes or no? Come on guys. Obj.ref is null. Now, after while loop, what is there? Obj.ref is equal to obj.ref is equal to new object of D. I value 0. Ref is equal to null. New of D. That is equal to obj.ref. What is the meaning of this? Obj.ref is equal to new of D. New of D is a third object. What is obj.ref now? Second object ref. Second object ref pointing to third object. Second object ref pointing to the third object. Remove this null. Done. Anything else is there in the add method? Nothing is there. The total add method execution got over. Add method is removing from the stack. All local members of add method will be getting removed. So totally 2 data members stored. How many D objects created? 25. Huh? Oh, we forgotten. There was one more statement, right? Yes, sir. Totally 3 objects. I repeat one more time. Anybody having any confusion, please try understanding clearly. So D1 dot add of 30. D1 dot add of 30. Add method taking one argument. What is the argument? This is the add method. I value. This pointing to third object, fourth object. D1 pointing to first object. Then inside add method, what is the first statement? What is the first statement? OBJ. To where this OBJ pointing? obj. Obj is equal to this. There were a second object. Who is that? Dhananjay. Obj pointing to the first object, right? Obj pointing to the first object. Please observe everybody. Now, what is obj dot ref? Whether it is a null or not a null? Not a null. Obj pointing to the first object. So, it's not a null. In the first object, ref is not a null. So, control going inside a while loop body. What is there? Obj is equal to obj dot ref. First, understand right hand side. The result, whatever you are getting in the right hand side, that we are assigning back to left hand side. This type of obj is equal to obj dot ref, several places we will be using in the data structures. So what is the right hand side? Currently obj pointing to first object. First object ref is pointing to second object. So obj dot ref in the right hand side representing second object. Obj dot ref in the right hand side referring second object. That is assigning back to obj. The meaning of that is obj should point to the second object. Sir, no? Obj should point to the second object. I am keeping straight away. You already understood. Body executed one time, going to the second time. Obj dot ref not a null. Now check it out to where obj pointing. Second object ref is null or not a null? Second object ref is a null. Second object ref is a not a null. Not a null. Not a null or null. Second object ref. Obj pointing to second object. Second object ref is a null, right? Totally. Second object ref not a null. Second object ref pointing to third object. Sir, no. Second object ref. Second object ref not a null. If it is not a null going inside, obj is equal to obj dot ref. So what is obj dot ref? Obj dot ref is a third object or not? Obj dot ref is a third object. Right hand side representing third object. That should assign back to the left hand side. Who is in the left hand side? Obj. Now what is the meaning of this? Obj will point to the third object. Obj pointing to third object. Now, going to the next iteration, obj dot ref. Whether obj dot ref is a null or not? Check it out now. Not null, right? Obj dot ref. Null or not null? Null. Null. Obj pointing to the third object ref is a null. If obj dot ref is a null, it's coming away. While loop is coming away. After while loop, what is there? Come on. mu of D I is equal to 0, ref is equal to null. This is assigning back to obj.ref. Yes or no? Who is obj.ref? Third object ref. obj.ref. Third object ref. That third object ref pointing to fourth object. Third object ref pointing to fourth object. There is one more statement. What is that statement? What is the last statement? What is the last statement? obj.ref is equal to, obj.ref dot I is equal to, what is the value? The current I value 30. Total add method got over. Add method is removing from the stack. Still any confusion? D1 pointing to first object. First object ref is pointing to second object. Second object ref. Third object ref. Fourth object. So last object ref is a null. Whichever is the last object, that object ref, it is a null. In the same way, is it possible to understand read method? It's almost the same. In the add method, we are assigning a value. In the read method, we are reading a value. Same procedure. In the read method, take obj. D1 dot read. What is D1 in the read method? D1 is nothing but this. Then obj.ref not a null. So go inside and read the obj.ref.I. That is second object. I is there in the second object. Come on. Obj pointing to first object. First object ref is pointing to second object. So afterwards we are moving obj to second object. Yes or no? If second object ref not a null, go inside. Try printing. Third object I. Yes or no? Third object I. So basic construction, it is like a hello world in the data structures. Hello world. But this itself people are finding a difficulty. It's a common in the first time, but you have to keep the brain and they keep continuing step by step, keep understanding how it is there. Then it's very easy to understand. Now in the main method, we are not keeping add method functionality. In the main method, there is no add method functionality. We are simply calling add method. Add method containing add method functionality. Add method containing adding functionality. In the main method, we are not reading like a d1 dot ref dot I, d1 dot ref dot I, d1 dot ref dot I. Only read method directly? Yes or no? Directly read method. Only read method, no other. Next one. Assume already 100 elements added. If you want to add 101, you need to reach from from first to 101, then only you can able to add. Here you have seen 3 elements. First element adding through second object, second element adding through third object. So every time you are reaching from D1 to second, second to third, third to fourth. So this approach is not the best. Why? Because adding operation, it's very complicated. Internally taking more time. Why it is taking more time? Every time you have to reach to last element, we have a reference to first element. We don't have a reference to last element. Through first element, going to last element one by one, is or no? This point is very important, guys. See, why do we require this while loop? Anybody can understand? Why this while loop is required? Reaching to the last object through D1. D1 is the first element. From the first element, keep moving one by one, and reaching to the last element. Reaching to the last element. Yes or no? Reaching to the last element. Done? Confusion? This way of development not very much advisable. If you are adding 100 elements, keep moving one by one. It's very lengthy. Let me show another example. Everybody, let us choose a class name as M1. Let's go for class E separately. E space, first comma last. N1 dot I is equal to I. Please modify little node. Class E, node space first comma last. you can understand completely. Please represent add method exactly as it is. You will be knowing why do we require if-else blocks. Come to the read method. There is a separate node class which contains data member and reference. Node class, data member and reference. Then E class containing two attributes and two methods. Add method and read method. Two attributes, add method and read method. I'll explain clearly what is add method and read method. Come to the main. Create an object to E. E1 dot add. any number of elements. Add method. 1 second. Please modify first is double equal to null. Looks like lengthy, but it's not difficult, very easy. You can understand very easily. This is most like a better approach compared to previous approaches. Fully organized. So there is no while loop while adding. While adding, there is no while loop. No while loop while adding. Come on. There is no while loop while adding. There is no while loop while adding. Even 1000 elements already there. It is straight away adding at the last. While adding, you should not iterate from first to last. Only while reading, you have to iterate. Why? Because you have to read all the elements. So read method only having a while loop. Add method doesn't have a while loop. So separate node class. Separate node class. I and ref. Then E class containing two node references. One add method, one read method. So keep calling add and read from E class. Able to compose everybody? Running successfully? Check it out. Guys, everybody, let me show line by line. So what are the members available in the node class? One data member, another is a link for the next. One data member and link. So I'm choosing a class name as a node and a link to next node. Then class E containing two types of nodes, first and last. Class E containing first and last. Class E containing first and last. First comma last. Then what is there in the add method? Come on guys, everybody. I'm creating one new node with a I value. This new node I'm assigning to first in the beginning. Else won't execute for the first time. Node is assigning to first. After else, node is assigning to last. Come on guys. While adding first element, node is assigning to first and last. Same object referring by first and last. Same object referring by first and last. Same object referring by first and last. Else is not executed. If you add second one, while adding second one, first is not a null. Come on. If won't execute, it will go to the else. In the else, last dot ref is equal to second one. Already last is pointing to first. First dot ref is pointing to second one. Yes or no? First dot ref pointing to second one. After else, last is assigning to second one. Yes or no? Very simple, guys. While adding first element, that is assigning to first. While adding second element, that is assigning to first dot ref. So first and last both are pointing to the same for the first. While adding third element, third dot ref. While adding fourth element, third dot ref. Fifth element, fourth dot ref. Please observe, whenever you are adding first element, that is assigning to first in the if block. Assigning to first in the if block. Else block not executing. Even last also assigning to the same. First and last both are assigning to the same. One. First and last both are assigning to the same in case of first. So assume I am adding second element. First is not a null. If block not execute. It will go to the else. Else is last dot ref is equal to second element. Last is pointing to the first only. So first dot ref is equal to second element. Afterwards, last is equal to second element. After else, there is a last is equal to n1. So two elements added. First is pointing to first element. Last is pointing to second element. I'm going to add third element. In the third element, if block won't execute, else will execute. In the else, last dot ref. Last is pointing to second element. Second element ref is pointing to third element. Afterwards, last is equal to third element. Yes or no? I'm adding fourth element. Else will execute. Last is pointing to third element. Third element ref is equal to fourth element. Then after else, last is equal to fourth element. I'm adding fifth element. Else will execute. Fourth dot ref is equal to fifth element. Then afterwards, I repeat once again, everybody. So initially, while creating an object to E, whenever we are creating an object to E, first is null, last also null. Yes or no? First is null, last also null. First is null, last also null. After creating an object to E, I am calling first add method. I am supplying a depth. That is storing in the node object. That node object assigning to first through if block. Why? Because first is a null. Yes or no? First is a null. While adding first element, first executing, else is not executed. Then after else, last also to the same first. So while adding first element, first and last both will be pointing to the same element, same node. Yes or no? Now what we have to do? Second element. While adding second element, what is there? While adding second element, else is executing. Why else is executing? Why else is executing? First is not a null. First is not a null. This is very important, guys. So keep going through add method clearly. Add method containing if else. If is executing only first time. Else is executing from second time onwards. Else is executing from second time onwards. Yes or no? If is executing only first time. Else is executing from second time onwards. Inside a E object, how many members are there? In the main method, we are creating a E object. Yes or no? In the main method, what we are doing? So in the main method, what we are doing? So let me consider this as a main method. Inside a main method, E1, it is pointing to one E object. So what are the members in the E object? Guys, everybody. What are the members in the E object? What are the members in the E object? Logical, Lara. Only first and last, both are null. E object we have created. So first is null, last also null. Both are null. First and last, both are null. Come on. Then we are calling add method. We are calling add method. Yes or no? How you are calling? Through E1. In the add method, this is nothing but E1. In the add method, this is nothing but D1. So add method is going, sorry. Let us consider this is a add method. Inside a add method, there is one argument. I is equal to 10. There is a this. What is this? This is nothing but this. E1. This is nothing but E1. Now, we are defining one node object. What are the members available in the node object? What are the members available in the node object? I and J? I, J, K? Come on. This is the node object. Inside a node object, so what are the members? I and ref. Ref is a null. I assigning to 10. Yes or no? This is referred by who is referring this? N1. Heroes. Inside a add method, N1 is there or not? Yes or no? Check it out, first two lines. Node N1 is equal to new node. N1 dot I is equal to I. Yes or no? Come on, guys. N1 dot I is equal to I. Now, first means this dot first. First means this dot first or not. What is this here? This is N1. This is nothing but E1. Come on. So whether this dot first is a null or not. Come on, guys. This is a this dot first. You can keep like this dot first. It is not required only to understand. It is this dot last. It is this dot last. Now you can check it out. This dot first is a null or not. If this dot first is a null, if block executing, what if block is doing? What if block is doing? Come on. what if block is doing. This dot first is equal to n1. What is the meaning of that? If block executed, else won't execute. After else, what is there? This dot last is equal to n1. What is this dot last? This one. First and last both are pointing to the same. Completely add method got over. Add method removing from the stack. Add method completely removing from the stack. Add method completely removing from the stack. So let's call add method second time. While calling add method second time, everybody, what is the I value? What is the this? This is pointing to E1. Now, new node object is creating. New node object is creating. Come on, guys. Assume this is the new node object. So what is the I value copying? What is the I value copying? This is referred by who? From the add method n1. Then now, so what about if block will execute? Why if block not executing? This dot first not a null. This dot first not a null. Come on. Whenever this dot first not a null, it will go to the else. It's going to the else. What is there in the else? Else dot last dot ref is equal to n1. So what about this dot last dot ref? This dot last dot ref. Anybody, what is that ref? First object's ref. Yes or no? First object ref is pointing to the n1. First object ref is pointing to n1. Else got over. After else, what is the statement? Last is equal to n1. So this is first only, right? Sit down, sit down. We called add method through E1. We called add method through E1. Inside add method, this is E1. This is E1. So please observe this dot first pointing to the first element. This dot last that also was pointing to the first. Now I move to the last. Now this dot last is pointing to second element. This dot last is pointing to second element. Please observe here E1 dot add, E1 dot add. Inside add method, this is nothing but E1. Inside add method, this is nothing but E1. So go to the add method. So this is nothing but E1. Inside E1, first it was a null in the beginning. Now it is not a null. So inside a else block, this dot last. It was pointing to first element. Now we move to the second element. This dot last is equal to n1. This dot last is equal to n1. Add method execution second time got over. I repeat one more time. Please observe everybody. Yeah. So please observe add method once again I am calling third time. Please observe everybody. How we are calling add method? This is the add method. We called the add method by using E1. Inside a add method, whatever this is there, that this is a E1. Inside a add method body, so inside a add method, there is a local I. How much local I value? 30. So here we are creating a node object. Sir, no. N1. Node object. I is equal to 30. Ref. This is referred by, come on everybody, referred by N1. Inside a add method, N1 is a local to the add method. So we assigned N1 dot I is equal to 30. Now, this is pointing to E1. So what about this dot first, whether it is a null or not null? This dot first, not null. So what will do? Else. What is the else? This dot last dot ref is equal to N1. This dot last dot ref is equal to N1. What is the meaning of this? Second object's ref pointing to third. Second object's ref. Last is pointing to second object. Second object's ref in the else body. Second object's ref pointing to the third object. After else block, what is there? This dot last is equal to N1. This dot last. So this dot last means this one. It is assigning to N1. Who is N1 here? Who is L1? Third object. Now, complete add method got over. I'll explain one more time. Understood everybody? The same technique even read method. If you understand add method, then read method is simple. Okay. So new add method is coming. I value 40. This is pointing to E1. One new node is creating. Inside a add method, new node. I is equal to body ref. This is referred by okay. Now what is there? If block will execute or else block will execute. Come on. Else block is executing. What is there in the else block? This dot, last dot, ref is equal to. What is the meaning of this? Is it correct? After else block, what is there? Last dot. So last is equal to n1. Sorry. Yeah, this dot last is equal to n1. So every time we are maintaining a reference to the last element. For adding purpose, keep using last. For reading purpose, keep using first. Go to the first, read the first element. Then from the first, go to the second, read the second element. From that second, go to the third, read the third element. Yes or no? This is the basic structure. basic structure. So what is there in the read method? Take the first, get its value. From a first, go to the second, get its value. As long as ref is not a null, n1 not a null, keep continuing. Read method is simple. Add method only, little lengthy. But now you understood, right? Still, if you have a confusion, what you can do?